We've all been there. A boss, mentor, or peer starts pushing you past your comfort zone, demanding more than you thought you could give. The standard career advice tells you to embrace this. We're taught all friction is good, that discomfort is simply the required price of personal growth. But that narrative often fails reality. Sometimes being pushed doesn't feel like leveling up. It feels draining, highly conflicting, and intuitively wrong. The confusion happens because we lump all professional friction into the exact same bucket, failing to realize that not all discomfort is created equal. When we fail to recognize these different types of friction, we aren't setting ourselves up for growth. We are simply leaving ourselves vulnerable to manipulation. Workplace friction splits into two very different forces: accountability and pressure. They might feel similar initially, but their destinations are opposites. One path builds you up. The exact same friction from the other path wears you down. Understanding this duality is a core tenet of the Southwestern leadership philosophy. Mastering the subtle difference between these two forces is an essential skill. It's how you lead a team effectively, and equally important, how you protect your own career. Let's examine the healthy side of the equation. True accountability is positive pressure with purpose. When a good coach or mentor pushes you, their motive is clear. They see your potential, and they are applying friction solely to force your growth. They don't just blindly demand results. Accountable leaders create clarity, set firm expectations, and back those expectations up with robust support. Notice how this force interacts with your boundaries. Accountability presses against your limits, but it respects them. Instead of forcing you to compromise your internal values, it strengthens them. So while it remains highly uncomfortable, this type of friction is designed entirely for the benefit of the person receiving it, not the person giving it. Now consider the dark side of workplace discomfort. Pressure is an inherently extractive force. Its motive is entirely selfish. It exists to benefit the person applying it, and it usually achieves that by actively depleting the person on the receiving end. In stark contrast to accountability, pressure ignores established boundaries. It bypasses clarity and relies heavily on manipulating your emotions or manufacturing guilt to force a result. There are immediate tactical warning signs. If you are asked to compromise your values, hide critical information, or rush a high-stakes decision, you are being pressured. This behavior often disguises itself as intense leadership. In reality, it is a tool for selfish extraction that ultimately breeds fear and resentment throughout a team. Applying this framework to management clarifies the actual job of a leader. A leader's role is not to generate every brilliant idea themselves. The actual role is environmental design. It is about curating a space where great ideas naturally happen and surface from the people around you. These two forces create wildly different environments. Pressure relies on rigid authority to force compliance. Accountability relies on influence to inspire choice. When you build an accountable environment, the structure assembles itself. Team members improve and innovate because they genuinely want to, not out of fear. Sustainable leadership requires influence and choice. That makes accountability the only viable strategy for running a high-performing team over the long haul. This framework extends beyond how you guide others. It is an evaluative tool for how you allow yourself to be led. You have to actively monitor your professional circle. If you consistently feel drained and conflicted while a boss or peer continually benefits, that is a glaring warning sign. The golden rule of this framework is sequence. A true leader must fiercely protect their own standards and boundaries before attempting to raise the standards of anyone else. Recognizing pressure is a vital self-defense mechanism. It is exactly how you prevent personal burnout and stop exploitation in its tracks. Internalizing this strict difference between accountability and pressure solidifies your professional posture. It creates a powerful dual benefit. You become significantly harder to manipulate and incredibly easy for others to trust. Take a hard look at your own reality. Who actually holds you accountable and who simply pressures you? The choice is yours. Adopt a leadership style that builds up the people around you and fiercely protects the boundaries within you.